We've done single row subqueries in the last class. So today we are going to continue with multiple row subqueries. Now, multiple row subqueries return more than one row. Use multiple row comparison operators. And these are the operators you use: in, any, all. Equal, that is, this in is equal to any member in the list. So whatever the subquery is going to return to you, in the single row subquery, the subquery will return only one row and one column, just a single row and a single column. That's what the subquery for a single row subquery will return. And then in that one, you have the operators that you use for it: the equals to operator, greater than, less than. But for multiple row, the subquery is going to return more than one row. So if the subquery is returning more than one row, it means that the operators that you will use will be different. And these are the operators you will use: in, any, and all. So in equal to any member in the list, because the subquery is going to return things inside the list. You will see it practically. Any, this any must be preceded by equals to, not equals to, greater than, less than or equals to, greater than or equals to. Compares a value to each value in a list or returned by a query. It evaluates to false if the query returns no rows. I will explain. All must be preceded by this same single row operator. Compares a value to every value in a list or returned by a query. Evaluate to true if the query returns no rows. This one is, the keyword here is each. Compares a value to each value in a list. Why this one is compares a value to every value in a list. You remember our class that we did on the logical operator, right? Logical operator. Do you remember that class where we add the and the or? This is what I'm talking about. Do you remember this? Okay, I demonstrated this for you, and I told you that I use an electrical circuit, and I told you that, like for this or, any of this switch that you put on, the bulb will come on. So if you switch one on, this bulb will come on. If you switch one off and you switch two on, this bulb will come on. Now, this any is like that or. Then you have this one, which is and. The two switches must come on before this bulb can come on. If you switch on switch one and you switch off switch two, the bulb will not come on. If you switch on switch two and you switch off switch one, the bulb will not come on. So you need these two to be on before this bulb can come on. So this all is like that and. Are you with me? So the any is like the or, and the all is like the and you will see my explanation clearly. So let's write a practical script for them. We'll start with the in and then go to the any and then go to the all. So this is our normal query: select star from employees, and it will give you this output that you're looking at. Now, let's say we want to select the minimum salary from each department, and then we want to know who are those employees that are earning that those minimum salary. In the single subquery that we did, we did a query that brought out the minimum salary of all the employees, and then the main query told us the person that was earning that minimum salary, right? That is for single row subquery. But in this case now, we want to bring out the minimum salary of each department. So it means that the single row, the subquery will return more than one row to us. So in such a situation, we will use a multiple row operator. So for example, what I'm saying is this: select, let's say last name, last underscore name, comma, salary, comma, department underscore ID. Then we'll say from employees, right? And then we'll now say we'll bring in the where clause. Remember, you can use a subquery in the where clause, in the from clause, and in the having clause. We demonstrated that with a single row subquery. But this time around, we are doing multiple rows of queries, and we are looking at the operators that we will use for them. So select last name, salary, department ID from employees, where salary. Now, I will not put I will not put the operator yet. Let's okay. Let me use where salary is. Let's use single row, the single row operator, and then you will now see the error. Before I will now change the operator to tell you what the proper operator should be. So I'm going to now here I'm going to now bring in my subquery. So my subquery will be select. I will call a group function mean. Are you with me? So I will now supply salary to it. Salary. I'm going to bring it down like this. I'll just arrange it that way. So from employees, right? From employees, group by now. In this one, I have to group it, and I've told you I want to group it by department. So I want to get the minimum salary of each department. And so the grouping will be done by department ID. Now, I did not even state that department ID in my select list. I don't have to. I showed you that before. So here now I'm saying select minimum salary from employees, group by department ID. So what this simply means is that for each department, I'm going to look for the minimum salary. Now, when I run this, look, when I run this inner query, when I execute it, look at the inner query is giving me all the minimum salary of each department. Can you see? It's returning more than one row. It's returning 12 rows. 12. You scroll down. See, it's returning 12 rows. Now, if I run this, the whole of this query, if I run the whole of this query, it's going to throw me an error. Why? Because of this operator. This is the moment I put this minimum salary, and I put this group by. If I don't put this group by, it will give me only one output. That was what we did. If I say if I put this, if I comment this row and I put this one and I terminate here like this and I end. Now when I run this one, when I run this, select minimum salary from employees. When I execute this one, it's going to give me just one output. Now if I run the whole query, which is the whole of this query, if I run it, see, it's going to give me the employee that is earning the minimum salary. Now that is not what I'm doing now. I want to get, because that one gives me the minimum salary of all the employees. But with this one, I am saying give me the minimum salary of each department. So I'm going to group by department ID. So it will go to department 20, tell me the minimum salary. Go to department, for example, okay, let me just add this. Let me just do this. Let's say I add this. Here, I add it. I add it here. And then I put comma. Now, if I run this one so that you will see it clearly, if I run this inner query, sorry, what is that? Department ID, department ID. Now, if I run it, You see, look at the two columns, department ID and mean salary. So for department 100, this is the minimum salary. Department 30, this is the minimum salary. This one does not have department, but this is the minimum salary. Department 90, minimum salary. Department 20. So it's showing me, it's calculating the minimum salary based on each department, and that's what I want. So I want to remove this because I want to return one column. Now, when I run this, it's giving me this minimum salary for each department. So if I use this equals to operator, it will throw me an error because this operator means that it is expecting one single output. That is what this operator is expecting. But what is going to be returned will be more than one. So the operator will be confused. So it will throw an error. So let's run it and see the error. Look at this. A single row subquery returns more than one row. Single row subquery returns more than one row. It means that the moment you use this single row operator, it becomes a single row subquery. But the subquery is returning more than one row. That's why it's giving you that error. So in this case now, I am going to use the in operator since I am expecting more than one row. So that is the operator I will use, in operator. What does this in operator do? This in operator I taught you before in one of the classes. In operator has to do with membership. Membership. So when I run this inner query and it brings out all those people, this one, it returns all these people. Now it becomes a membership thing, 6,900, 2,500. Now this outer query is now going to use this output to do the search. The outer query is now going to use that output to do the search. So this outer query will go to the employee table, look for the employee. Now it's going to base its search of the employee table based on what is returned by this subquery. So subquery has returned 12 rows. It will look at the first row, 6,900. It will carry it. It will hold it. Then it will go to the employee table and it will start checking. If the salary of the employee is equal to any of the salary, that employee will be returned. So let's run this. You look at this. Now you look at Kocha, 1,000, 17,000. 17,000 is the minimum salary for department 90. So two people from department 90 are there. Then from department 60, 6,000 is one of the minimum salary. Then 4,200 is also a minimum salary return. 4,200 is part of the minimum salary return. 6,900 is another minimum salary return. So all the employees that are earning any salary that is equal to the minimum salary, that is what is returning. So this in is saying, now let me run this inner query again. When you execute this, so let's copy this. You copy it and then you paste it here. Paste it here. So this one, you're not going to remove this. And then we'll close this. And then we'll put this here. So this in, now this is how this query will be. This is our initial query. When you execute this subquery, this is the output it's giving you. This output is what we have here. So I'm now arranging them horizontally like this. So the query is now select last name, salary, department ID from employees, where salary in. So any employee whose salary is in this list will be returned. So when I run this, look at 26 employees. These are all the employees that their salary is within this range that we have. All this, anybody salary that is in this place, that person will be returned. So you can have like these two people now. One person is earning 6,000. If you look here, 6,000 is there. This one is earning 4,200. If you look here, 4,200 is there. This person is earning 2,500. So if you look, you will see 2,500. So any employee that is earning the salary that is inside this place will be returned. That is what this query is telling you. Get So the question was find the employees who earn the same salary as the minimum salary for each department. So this is the query for it. First and foremost, find the minimum salary for each department. Then find the employees that earn those minimum salary. That is what this query is telling us.